Welcome to the Bakersfield City Council meeting. This television broadcast is brought to you by the local cable companies, the County of Kern, and the City of Bakersfield. You can watch the rebroadcast of this meeting Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 10 a.m., and the following Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can download the agenda for this meeting at www.bakersfieldcity.us. Presiding over this evening's meeting, the Honorable Mayor Karen K. Go.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to call to order the 5:15 City Council meeting of December 11th, 2019. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Go.
Here.
Vice Mayor Parlier.
Here.
Council members Rivera.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Weir.
Here.
Smith.
I'm here.
Freeman. And Sullivan.
Here.
Thank you. This evening we have the pleasure of having Pastor Kevin Hart from Bakersfield Central Seventh-day Adventist, who will offer the invocation. Pastor Hart has been very instrumental in our community and leading community transformation efforts and just working together for the good of our community. We really appreciate you. Following the invocation, we have a young man, Troy Holman, who's a fifth grader at Stockdale Elementary. He's going to lead us in the pledge. He's a superstar. He just competed in Colorado Springs in the Olympic Training Center as a gymnast, and he won 2019 Future Stars National Championship. And he beat out 17 other 11-year-old boys, the first gymnast from Bakersfield to reach that level of competition. He's a member of the, we're going to give it up for him. He's a member of the U.S. Junior National Development Team in gymnastics. He's on the Principals List awardee, and he also plays the saxophone. And so it's going to be an honor there to celebrate with you. Pastor Hart, at this time, would you come and lead us, and would you all please stand?
Just like to say it is an honor to serve in the city of Bakersfield among such great individuals who seek nothing but to bring good to this city. Truly is an honor. I think it's appropriate this time of the year to be reminded of a story we're all familiar with, the Christmas story, that angels, the angel of God, appeared to shepherds in the hills surrounding Bethlehem. And that's an important thing because they basically showed up to a people who didn't see themselves as very special, with a message that reminded them that they are very special. And the response of the shepherds, of course, was fear. But the angel of God told them not to be afraid because they were not alone. We all seek to be leaders and change makers in this great state of California. And we're all faced with decisions that are increasingly challenging, both in the religious sector and in the public sector. And I think it's appropriate to remember the words of the angels to the shepherds, because there's times where we may feel alone, even if we are working among a team. And it's important to remember that God tells us not to be afraid, but we are not alone. And so with that in mind, why don't we bow our heads and invite His Spirit to be among us. Our Father and our God, we want to thank You so much for the privilege it is to make decisions that can better this world. We're so thankful to know, Lord, that You have not left us alone, but that we are with You and You are with us. We're so thankful to know that tonight Your Spirit is willing to move among us to help us make good decisions, to bless the leaders of this great city, to guide their thoughts, to guide their decision-making, to let them know that they are not alone. And Lord, You showed up to shepherds to let them know that You would be the great shepherd. And so tonight we look to You for guidance. We need wisdom. We've got degrees, we've got experience. Many here, Lord, represent great decisions that have been made in the past, great changes that have been made. And those things lend to a brighter future, and we're thankful for that. But tonight we want to remind ourselves that all wisdom comes from You. And so we're asking tonight that You would move upon everyone here with Your Spirit, so that at the end of the night, Your will have been done, and this world will be a little bit of a better place to be, a little brighter this time of the year. And then, of course, what I pray for this meeting, I pray for every individual here present, that You will let them know in their own families, at their home, wherever they may be, that they're not alone, that Jesus is here to help them, to guide them, and to keep them in their personal lives, so that in the public life, all decisions may be made a little freer, a little easier, that you may be glorified, and this world will indeed be a brighter place to be. This is our prayer tonight with thanksgiving in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. And Troy, now, remember to move the mic down.
I am here tonight with my parents and my sister. Please salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. And Troy, would you stay up there? I'm going to cartwheel down and meet you, okay?
You needed to take a shortcut and jump. Jump over, Karen.
Troy, it is my honor to present you with the Mayor's Medal. You have represented our city so well. We are so proud of you. And so let's come over here so we can get a picture of this. And Mom and Dad, if you want to snap away. Do you have lots of those already? You do? Oh, it's just one other. Not a mayor's one.
All right, that's good.
Good. And what's your sport? Gymnastics. And what do you compete in? Which parts of gymnastics? Do you do all kinds of things in gymnastics? 6 events. Oh, wow. Give it up for Troy. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Six events. Wow. Here are a few guidelines to help our meeting run smoothly. We request that you turn off your phones. In keeping with council policy, council members aren't allowed to send or receive electronic communication during the meeting. Please be courteous in the use of cameras and videos. Applause is allowed during the presentations portion of the meeting, but not at other times. For safety reasons, we ask that you do not bring any signs into the chamber, and we really appreciate your cooperation. Thanks so much. Madam Clerk, would you please read the first item?
Under presentations, presentation presented to Mike Connor, Street Maintenance Superintendent for 40 years of service to the City of Bakersfield Public Works Department.
"40 years. How does somebody do 40 years? Well, that's incredible. We are so grateful for your service. And here's something that not many of us achieve. Mike, as a retiring street maintenance superintendent, served under 7 mayors and 4 council members. How is that even 43 council members. 7 mayors and 43 council members. That is incredible. Thank you so much for your service. I have the honor to issue a proclamation. Not everybody gets a proclamation. Whereas Mike Connor first began his employment with the Streets Division in the Public Works Department of the City of Bakersfield on December 3rd, 1979 as a utility worker, and whereas Mike worked his entire 40-year career with the Streets Division and was promoted to the Streets Maintenance Superintendent in 2011, whereas as the superintendent, Mike was responsible for the operation and maintenance of the storm and sewer collection systems, the maintenance and cleaning of all city streets, and the construction of several city capital improvement projects. And whereas Mike was involved with construction of the Centennial Garden at the Mechanics Arena and Convention Center, Phase 1 of Mill Creek, and several parks, which included Central Park, Era Park, Sports Village, and Mesa Marin. And whereas Mike also oversaw the cleanup and repairs during several weather events and emergencies throughout his career, including snowstorms. Do we have this in Bakersfield? Flooding, sinkholes, and structure failures. And whereas Mike has been a valued employee for the City of Bakersfield, now therefore I, Karen Go, Mayor of the City of Bakersfield, do hereby proclaim December 11th, 2019 as Mike Connor Day in our city. And we recognize and thank Mike Connor for his dedicated and exceptional service to the city of Bakersfield as street maintenance superintendent and wish him well in his retirement. It is my honor to present you with this and give you your very own day, Mr. Mike Connor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay right up here because now we get to say lots of good things. And so now we have the honor of having Mr. Nick Fiddler speak.
Honorable Mayor, council members, Nick Fiddler, Public Works Director. I've had the privilege to work with Mike for just over 20 years. It's hard to believe that he's actually doubled my career length at the city. I know for him it's went by fast because he spent several hours of the day, every day, working at the city. He was very dedicated to our department. He will be sorely missed. He has provided a wealth of knowledge to all of us newcomers as we come in. He has a wealth of knowledge that is invaluable that we are losing this month or lost this month. So a significant loss to our department, to the city. I do have the pleasure of issuing him a certificate of appreciation for his 40 years of service. He also already received his funds for this certificate of appreciation. He wouldn't let me hold on to it to give to him. So again, thank you for all your services. You have been a friend, a coworker, someone that I can always lean on to ask questions. And as he'll say, he's always cleaning up after mine and engineers' mistakes. So I really appreciate all you've done for the city and the department. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Feel free to proceed.
Thank you. You know, it has been a good career, and I couldn't have done it without my family, the support of them, which my wife is up here, that I've been married for 41 years, and my daughter and my granddaughter there. So, but it has been an honor and a pleasure to work for the city and serve the good citizens of Bakersfield. I'm not usually not much on words, so, but it has been good. And I can always say that the more engineers they hired here, the more job security I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mike, you used the word serve, the pleasure to serve, and we have somebody else who I think has also demonstrated that servant's heart. Kevin Barnes, come on up here. Where are you? Oh, you know what? We need to have you read. Oh, there you are. Madam Clerk, would you like to announce the next item, please?
Retirement plaque and gift card presented to Kevin Barnes, Solid Waste Director for 25 years of service to the City of Bakersfield Public Works Department.
Well, many, many years, and it's been such a pleasure to work together. It's not always like the most pleasant stuff that you're dealing with, but you do it with joy, commitment, service, and thank you for being a part of the Keep Bakersfield beautiful team and working together to make our city a much better, beautiful city. Thank you so much for all your efforts. I'm going to let Mr. Fiddler say all the good
Mayor,
things.
I know it stinks, but we say it smells like money.
It smells like money, okay.
Honorable Mayor and council members, again, another huge loss to our department and to our city. Kevin Barnes has been very instrumental in the solid waste operations. If you are not familiar, we are probably the most efficient city in California when it comes to solid waste. We have one of the lowest, or the lowest out of 36 cities analyzed for refuse rates, which is something to be very proud of. And we are at least $50 less than the county, who picks up the solid waste right across the street, and we provide additional services on top of that. So something to be very proud of. Kevin has been instrumental in maintaining those rates. In addition, Kevin was a big part of, or was the part of, how we automated our system. Prior to Kevin coming, it was a manual loading of trash into a rear loader. He was instrumental in getting the recycling system in place, and also instrumental in getting our green waste facility operating. One of the largest publicly owned green waste facility, which serves almost all of Kern County. So he has been a very big asset to our department, the city, and at this time I'd like to take the moment to provide his plaque for service for 24.75 years, but actually 25 years we're going to say, because he did start working with the city and training crews in December, the year that he started. So thank you so much for your service to the city. And at this time, I'd also like to call up Ray Scott with Keep America Beautiful, because they would like to also say a few words.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff. Keep America Beautiful, keep California beautiful. The motto for Keep California Beautiful is the efforts of one results in the power of many, and that's Kevin. I mean, in his time that I've been able to be with him for 18 years as an administrator for one of your local haulers, but then 10 years working side by side with him with Keep Bakersfield Beautiful, which then, because of a lot of what Kevin did, I then became the board president for Keep California Beautiful. I mean, Kevin, in his time, 16 years of being with Keep Bakersfield Beautiful, 20 national awards from Keep America Beautiful. That's not counting state, that's not counting county or local. The creation of a working environment with Caltrans, and Mayor Go can testify what that's meant to us recently here for Keep Bakersfield Beautiful and the city. And then, of course, the formation of the homeless crews, all under Kevin's leadership. And that's when I called the chairman for CEO of Keep America Beautiful, immediately said, yes, I want to sign the certificate for Kevin for what he's done for Keep Bakersfield Beautiful, Keep California Beautiful, and really as a star for Keep America Beautiful. Kevin?
Amazing. Thank you very much. Most of you know that when I'm at this podium talking trash, I ad-lib it. I don't normally use notes, but I'm going to have to use them tonight. It's a very big night for me. For me, it's actually more than retiring from the city. You might know that I grew up in the trash business with my dad. I actually was in my first recycling enterprise at 8 years old with my little red wagon, cashing in newspapers. Dad started the trash business after World War II. My gray shirt tonight is in memory of his gray truck color. After World War II, that was what color you got when you mixed all the available paints left over together. So we go way back to that. Lots changed since then. Things have modernized, as Nick mentioned. We automated, and we've done a lot of good things. When I began here, we didn't have computers. We didn't even have the internet yet, or the email in the city. The reason I'm here tonight, thank goodness, I came across a magazine ad by accident, and Bakersfield wanted a trash director, but the deadline was the next day. So I spent $10 to FedEx my resume overnight for the deadline, and the rest is history. It's one of the best $10 I ever spent, though. It's second only to the $10 I spent for the marriage license to marry my dear wife, Candace, almost 40 years ago. But Bakersfield's investment was right up there. I really appreciate being here. It's been good for me, my family. Our 3 kids have grown up here. They've got their careers here now. They're raising their kids. It is our hometown since the mid-90s. So we love it. Work-wise, it's doubled the number of homes that we pick up trash for. I don't know why Alan didn't give me a raise, but we're doing twice the work. Okay, next year. Okay. And speaking of Alan, I want to say that just as a person who lives in a town, now that I know a little bit more about how cities work on the inside, I appreciate a guy like that being in charge of the town that I live in with my family. So not the easiest guy to work with sometimes, but I really appreciate your leadership, Alan. Thank you, and bringing me aboard. Want to also thank the mayor and the council that support the things that we do, trying to carry out our mission. That's been very helpful. Your understanding and flexibility is great. I want to thank Nick Fiddler, my boss. He's been very supportive, gives me a lot of good support. I'm only half engineer, so we kind of speak the same language, but we get things done. And finally, I want to thank the 110 people in the solid waste division. They make my job doable. They are really good at what they do, but better than that, they care about serving and they care about being safe. So kudos to them. Thank you, everybody in our team. And as I retire from the city at the end of this month, I'll be local still. Happy to help out a little here and there if need arises. But I want to point out that we have a good team holding down the fort while we look for a new solid waste director. I want to point out Mr. James Leonard, our superintendent now of a couple of years. He's a good right-hand man. He will take care of the operation. And I also want to point out Mr. Greg Olivier here, who joined us just 3 days ago. He is moving down here from Lemoore. He's got some great private and public trash experience that's going to help with the recycling challenges ahead. So we welcome him aboard as the Assistant Solid Waste Director. And again, I just want to wrap up by saying thank you to the City of Bakersfield. It's been a great career. I'm very honored. And we'll be around town. We'll see you. Thank you. What's that? Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. You have good stuff in here. Kevin.
My wife would kill me if I didn't have that, right?
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Presentation on entrepreneurship.
Thank you. You know, as you walked into the lobby this evening, you might have noticed a sign, "This is God's country." Someday it will be filled with happy homes. This place is rich with future possibilities. Colonel Thomas Baker, 1862. This place is rich with future possibilities. And while a lot has changed since 1862, something that hasn't changed is the belief that our city is rich in future possibilities. So Colonel Baker and the resilient, gritty pioneers heard the sound of something better. And today, we as resilient, gritty, hardworking people of Bakersfield, we're creating the sound of something better. So we're hearing a new sound, and many of us believe that the new sound is the sound of entrepreneurship. For the past several years, many of us have been in conversation with our community regarding entrepreneurship, and we've explored opportunities for building a successful innovation ecosystem and increasing education and economic development. We've discussed how do we create that good tech ecosystem in Bakersfield that will activate the potential of our great community. In September 2017, several of us traveled with Kern EDC to Bitwise Industries in Fresno, and there we saw a place that had produced more than 1,000 new software developers, attracted over 200 technology companies to its facilities, contributed to the creation of thousands of jobs in the region, and turned 250,000 square feet of previously blighted downtown into very desirable commercial real estate. So upon returning from that trip in September, I shared the news about Bitwise with JP Lake. And I said, JP, we have to go see this again. I want you to go see this. And we made that trip along with Councilmember Smith and some others in November 2017. We were so inspired and captivated by Bitwise's effective model for creating a place where talent and opportunity can connect and thrive. And so together we all pursued discussions, and this last June 19th, Bitwise announced its expansion, its first expansion in Bakersfield. If you look across the street from the Padre, you'll see renovations, and that's going to be the new home of Bitwise. We're so excited about the opportunities there. And one of the co-CEOs of Bitwise, Irma Olguin, said, "Some people have had opportunities by accident, and others do not. We need to make those opportunities less a matter of chance and serendipity, and more a matter of deliberating, creating opportunities." So we're deliberately creating those opportunities for people to thrive. Bitwise is only one of several new innovation and entrepreneur opportunities in our community. We've been deliberately trying to move ahead in this regard, and it's been my pleasure that some of us, we get to talk about it, we get to be in meetings, but there are people who actually get out there and make things happen, and one of those people is JP Lake. And I'm going to invite JP to come up here and to share some of the exciting things that are going on in our community. JP Lake, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor Go. Good evening, council members and staff. It's a pleasure to be here. It's hard to believe that it was 2 years ago that we took that trip. Thank you for reminding me of that. I have fond memories of that, and it's amazing to see how far we've come, and yet also exciting to see how far we have to go and what's ahead of us. I'm here this evening on behalf of the Kern Initiative for Talent and Entrepreneurship, or KITE for short. KITE is a project of the Seed Corps Foundation and the Kern Economic Development Corporation. I also have Richard Chapman, CEO of KEDC, here in the audience supporting us. The mission of KITE is to help entrepreneurs, both current and future, access the tools and guidance that they need so that they can start successful businesses. Our organization is seeking to be the voice of entrepreneurship for Kern County, which of course includes the city of Bakersfield. We're working through a network of committed professionals to focus on the issues of talent, guidance for entrepreneurs, which includes like mentoring and coaching, funding of startups, and also creating spaces for entrepreneurs to collaborate and be creative together. This is a countywide effort, and I wanted to share tonight with you a few of the things that are going on. I'll do that briefly. But before I do that, I want to cite some research from the Brookings Institution that talks about why entrepreneurship is so important. You may know the fact that 90% of jobs are created and by small businesses. They are vital to the economic vitality of any economic region. A new study by Brookings is measuring something called startup complexity, which is a combination of the diversity of startups that you have in a metropolitan region and also their ability to specialize on certain technologies and industries. Kern County, as you know, is one of the most diverse economic areas in all of the United States. Henceforth, we have a lot of resources that we can leverage to create technologies and businesses of the future. But in order to do that, we need to support the growth and development of an entrepreneurial ecosystem. Some of the things that have been going on recently, and you can really trace it back over these last 2 years, it's amazing to see the correlation. You may have heard about Bakersfield College opening the Launchpad Entrepreneurial Resource Center downtown at the Weil Institute. That resource is available to anyone in our community, not just BC students. They can go in there and get help starting their business and navigating that journey. You may know about Virtual Enterprise and its presence on about 10 of our campuses in the Kern High School District, as well as they've added Delano this year in the 3 high schools there. You may not know that the teams from Virtual Enterprise are among the best in all of the United States, and that colleges from New York come to Bakersfield to recruit our students. Those are students that should be staying here in our town and building businesses of the future. You've heard about Bitwise. There are entrepreneur clubs now at CSUB and Bakersfield College that are collaborating together because they came together in KITE. You may also have heard about 59 Days of Code, a new competition which came to town recently. I have in the audience this evening with me the winner of that competition, Justin from Kernville Cowork. He's going to be launching his business called Fire Vision, which is going to change how we fight fires and improve the way that we fight fires. We've started Kern Venture Group, which is the first angel investing fund in all of Kern County. We have startup weekends occurring at CSUB and around the community, and we have co-work spaces sprouting up. I did bring some statistics here because I want you to know that the work that Richard and I are doing as part of KITE is going to be measurable. And we've identified the statistics from third-party sources here that we'll be tracking to see how we're doing as a community in building our entrepreneurial ecosystem. I'd like for you to be aware of those things and to be thinking about how the city of Bakersfield and the county can work together with the private sector and the nonprofit community to improve Bakersfield's results in the area of entrepreneurship. You'll notice, however, that the city has not been real active in this area from my personal opinion. And so tonight I want to share with you one small way that perhaps the city could entertain getting involved in supporting this effort. There's an organization called Start It Up, which some of you have heard about and I introduced you to over the past year or so. They have done some phenomenal work with the city of Long Beach. What Start It Up offers is a service that matches entrepreneurs with a mentor based on a free psychometric and business skills assessment that they developed over 3 years with Tufts University and Stanford University. After the entrepreneur takes this assessment, they're then matched with a mentor, and over time, the app and that mentor help them build a business plan, and then ultimately they also have built a customized checklist, which they've already done for the city of Bakersfield at no cost to us, for an entrepreneur to follow on how to start a business. Where do they go to get their business license? Where do they go to get their liquor license if they're starting a restaurant or a bar? So on and so forth. Through the generosity of Bank of America and the Seed Corps Foundation, we have sponsored 50 scholarships for entrepreneurs to use this resource called Start It Up. We have not yet promoted that free resource to the community, although I will note that Bakersfield College is already using it as part of their Launchpad and entrepreneurship curriculum. So President Christian got it right away and, as usual, jumped right on that opportunity, so I do want to acknowledge her for that. We would like to explore ways that this resource could be promoted, either through the business licensing department or other mechanisms with the city of Bakersfield. And it's not just about Start It Up. There may be other resources here, but I wanted to share this one that's timely and relevant and ready to go. We have 50 of these available, and we'd love to see them made available to entrepreneurs in 2020. With that, I just want to thank you for your service. As a public servant myself at the Panama Buena Vista School District, I know that these are long hours that you put in here and important decisions that are brought before you. So I thank you for that, and I wish you the most Merry Christmas possible.
Thank you so much, JP. I want to declare a new era of entrepreneurship in Bakersfield. Entrepreneurship is truly the sound of something better. Councilmember Rivera.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. I thought that was great, and I had an opportunity to sit down with Mr. Lake to talk about started up specifically, downloaded the app, got to take a look at that, and then had a conversation with Golia Mary earlier this week about what they worked on in Long Beach, which I think actually sounded pretty exciting. She sent me, and I'm looking at some of the measurables of their success down there. So I would like to ask staff to reach out to me so that we can set up a time to sit down with her to talk about the model in Long Beach, see how we might be able to tailor something for Bakersfield and kind of run with that, because I think there's a lot of potential there. Certainly something I want to sell in areas like Southeast Bakersfield, and I'd love to welcome it into the city as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Rivera. Councilmember Sullivan? I see your name up here. Was that just... Oh, it's okay. You don't need to say anything, and we're good here. Thank you so much, JP. Thank you very much, and Richard Chapman. Thank you also for initiating so much of the activity here locally. We really appreciate your leadership, and congratulations, 59 days of code. We're looking forward to you putting out fires in very efficient ways. Thank you very much, and to all of the rest of us, looking forward to this new era of entrepreneurship. Madam Clerk, at this time, the next item, public statements? No public statements.
Appointments. One appointment at large to the Fire Department Civil Service Board due to the term expiration of Thomas W. Edmonds. Term expires December 31st, 2019. One application was received from incumbent Thomas Edmonds.
We only have one application, so therefore, Vice Mayor?
Motion to appoint Thomas Edmonds.
You have a motion. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Next item, please.
One appointment at large to the Police Department Civil Service Board due to the term expiration of Mike Payne. Term expires December 31st, 2019. One application from for appointment was received from Kathleen Ann Thompson.
Motion to appoint Kathleen Ann Thompson.
You have a motion. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Ms. Thompson, are you in the audience? Or Mr. Edmonds? Okay. Next item, please.
One appointment at large to the Miscellaneous Department Civil Service Board due to the expiration of Roy Mayer. Term expires December 31st, 2019. One application for appointment was received from incumbent Roy Mayer.
Motion to appoint Roy Mayer.
You have a motion. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Next item, please.
One appointment at large to the Kern Mosquito and Vector Control District due to the term expiration of Florin Core. Term expires December 31st, 2019. Applications for appointment were received from Florin Core and Gilbert Delator.
Thank you. As the clerk provides ballots to the council, I'm going to clarify the voting process. Although the council will use ballots, the outcome of the vote will be made public by the city clerk. Based on these results, the council will then make the appropriate motion regarding each appointment. Following the council meeting, the individual ballots will be available for public review in the city clerk's office. So when you're finished, just pass them towards the middle, please. Oh, extra. Evidently, City Manager Alan Tandy, we are short on pens. That might be something, our abundance of... No, we're good. Thank you.
Appointment for Florn Core, with 6 votes voting for Florn and Freeman absent.
Thank you. Next item, please. Oh, motion, sorry. Motion.
Motion to appoint Florn Core.
You have a motion, please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Next item, please. Is Mr. Korn here? Oh, he is. So please stand up, and we just thank you so much for your service and congratulations. Thank you very much. Next item.
2 appointments to the Bakersfield Youth Commission due to recent alternate commissioner vacancy for Ward 2 and alternate commissioner vacancy for
Madam
mayor.
City Clerk, I think you skipped one. Item E, please.
Oh, my apologies. 1 appointment at large to the Board of Directors of the North of the River Recreation and Park District due to the term expiration of member Brooks Douglas. Term expires December 31st, 2019. 1 application was received from incumbent Brooks Douglas.
Thank you. Vice Mayor,
Motion to appoint Brooks Douglas.
you have a motion. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Two appointments to the Bakersfield Youth Commission due to recent alternate commissioner vacancy for Ward 2 and alternate commissioner vacancy for mayor. Terms to expire on July 31st, 2020. Applications for appointment were received from the following individuals: Guprai Kaur, mayor alternate candidate; Amber Schweiger, alternate, mayor alternate and Ward 2; Sarah Garas, mayor alternate; and Samuel Baldovinos, mayor alternate.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to nominate Samuel Baldovinos. Sam is a junior at Bakersfield Christian High School, 4.0 GPA. He's in forensics, basketball, swim, water polo, and he runs the mission club and the debate team, if that is not enough. He interned with Assemblyman Vince Fong's office, and he wants to help in leading our community. I have to tell a story about Sam when he was with the Assemblyman. So we were doing a celebration, a ribbon cutting grand opening at one of the parks. It was way over 100 degrees, and people were taking off their jackets and being very casual. And I looked out there, and I saw a young man in a blue blazer, tight, the whole works, the khaki pants, and I thought, that has to be an intern. It was his first day on the job. Sam, you did a fantastic, you looked great that day and represented the Assemblyman's office so well, and just really, really appreciate that. And so it is my honor to nominate Vice Mayor.
I make the motion.
Okay, you have a motion. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Congratulations, Sam. Sam, stand up. And why don't you come up here and introduce the people? You brought a lot of people with you tonight, and so come on up here and introduce them. I think your coach is back there. So yeah, go ahead and introduce them.
Hi, how's everyone doing? I just want to thank the mayor and city council members. I brought quite a few people tonight. I brought my dad, I brought my mom, my brother, my grandma, and my debate coach. So yeah, a lot of fans.
Thank you so much for your leadership. All right, appreciate it. Will you get a picture of him too, please, maybe with his family? You can go outside and take care of that. All right, very good. And now, Councilmember Gonzalez, you have an appointment.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to nominate Amber Schweiger as the alternate for the Youth Commission representing Ward 2.
All right.
And that is a motion.
That is a motion. Please cast your votes.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Is Ms. Schweiger here? Well, congratulations to all who accepted, who were voted in this evening, and thank you for your service. We really appreciate your dedicated service to our community. Next item, please.
Consent calendar. Consent calendar items 8A through 8AR for approval.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Does any council member wish to recuse themselves from an item? Does any council member wish to remove an item for separate consideration? I received a card from Councilmember Weir that he would like to pull item 8E is in Edward. And with that, I make a motion to approve consent calendar items 8A through 8AR with the exception of 8E is in Edward.
You have a motion? Please cast your votes.
Might have to go manual.
We're having problems? While we're taking care of the technology, I want to recognize that we have a student from CSUB. Thank you for being here, and we are grateful that you're participating in the process.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. And now, item 8E. Councilmember Weir.
Thank you, Mayor. This item was originally put on the agenda at the request of Councilmember Freeman. We've all heard about the state and their bazillion dollars of surpluses in Sacramento, and apparently that's just not enough. So there is a group that has qualified a petition to change the mechanisms of Proposition 13 to where certain commercial property and agricultural property and even vacant property would be changed to be assessed at the current fair market value instead of at the value as per Prop 13. I personally strongly oppose this change, and the resolution is awarded to strongly oppose any change to the current practice of assessment of property taxes and reaffirming the support of Prop 13. So I make a motion to approve item 8E.
You have a motion, please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. The next item is going to be the public hearing, and before I open the public hearing, I'll go over the presentation time policy. Each side is allowed 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes for all speakers, so it's important that you identify yourself, make your statement quickly so others may speak. We'll hear statements from those opposed to the staff's recommendation first, and then we'll hear from those who are wishing to speak in favor. If there's testimony on both sides, each side will be allowed a 5-minute rebuttal. There's a clock on the wall behind me which indicates 15 minutes. We'd ask you to step to the mic and identify yourself. After 14 minutes, a yellow light will come on, and at the end of 15 minutes, a red light will flash indicating that your time is up. Quickly end your statements. You may ask questions during your statement, but they won't be heard. They won't be answered until the public hearing is closed. If you have written comments that are longer than your verbal statement, please give those to the clerk, and she'll provide copies to the council. Please be courteous to others who wish to speak. Unless there's approval by the majority of the city council, there's a strict 15-minute time limit for all those in favor or in opposition to staff's recommendation. Madam Clerk, would you please read the public hearing item?
Hearings, Bakersfield Brentwood LP, Brentwood Crossings Apartment. Number 1, resolution approving the issuance of revenue bonds by the California Municipal Finance Authority for the purpose of financing or refinancing the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of Brentwood Crossing Apartments and certain other matters relating thereto.
Thank you. Mr. Boyle.
Is the presentation available? Thank you, Madam Mayor, council members. Tonight's public hearing is a public hearing in support of the issuance of bonds for the financing of the Brentwood Crossing Apartments. Next slide. Thank you. There's been a lot of interest as it relates to affordable housing projects recently coming from the dais and staff. Although the public hearing tonight is largely an administrative action on the part of the council, I thought I'd take a moment to describe the project for the benefit of the council. This is a 58-unit apartment complex that's proposed in the eastern reaches of the city of Madera. It would provide for 58 units, all single-family homes in a mix of product from 2-bedroom to 4-bedroom units. The project is considered a uniform project in that there would be a community structure with multiple other amenities that are available if constructed. I apologize. First time I've used this particular facility. How do you go to next? Got it. A closer view of the proposed complex. Note that this is not a single-family development, that this would be a complex of sorts, oftentimes perceived as being a low-income housing or farm labor type of project. Pardon me? Now tonight, in order for Danco to apply for a portion of the bonds or to qualify for tax-exempt bonds, the City of Bakersfield must conduct a public hearing, oftentimes called a TEFRA hearing. It must provide its approval of the CMFA issuance of the bonds for the financing of the project. Now, this is a procedural item. Again,
wherein the city's support of that financing is borne out in action in the form of a resolution. There's no direct or indirect financial impact to the city, and no obligation. Therefore, staff would recommend adoption of the resolution and the indemnity agreement. That completes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition to staff's recommendation?
No, it wasn't.
Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in support or favor of staff's recommendation? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and return it to council for comment and action. Councilmember Weir, this is in your district. Would you like to speak?
Actually, I would just like to move staff's recommendation.
We have a motion. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Number 2, indemnification agreement between the city and Bakersfield Brentwood LP.
Actually, Mayor, that was
That was
already
part-
passed by Councilmember Weir. So I think we may be on number 14.
Yes. 13, maybe, or council.
Council and mayor statements.
Do we have any requests to speak? Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week I had the opportunity to represent the mayor at the California League of Cities Board of Directors meeting. And in part of that meeting, cities throughout the state talked about the fallout of Proposition 4757 and AB 109. And in talking to our great Chief of Police, Lyle Martin, he has expressed that that has had ramifications with our crime within our city too. And with that, I'd like staff to come back with a resolution in support of the Reducing Crime and Keeping California Safe Act of 2020. Now, there's been some articles and some news coverage recently. Then, unfortunately, there was a death of a motorist, and it was purportedly attributed to drag racing. I've also heard from several members of the community that have expressed concern regarding illegal drag racing. I know that it's affected several wards, including mine, and I think it's pervasively a city problem. So I'd like to refer this to the Safe Neighborhoods Committee for further discussion and consideration, but I'd also like the police department to conduct a forum of citizens and get feedback on, you know, where they're at and if they have any ideas on solutions for us too. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Appreciate your...
One more item, Mayor.
one more. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
That's a good one. Thank you for representing our city at League of California Cities. It's always so important that we actively participate to make sure that our voice is heard. We're sometimes very, very different, and it's critical that we be there. I, too, had the same item on mine to make comments on in terms of the Reducing Crime and Keeping California Safe. Just to note that we had, as a council, actually approved the initiative or recommended that for 2018. It didn't make it at that point, and so this is the same thing coming forward yet again. Assemblyman Vince Fong has endorsed it, as has our DA, and I as mayor also have endorsed that, but it's something very, very important. And the issues that we're hearing in our community, I believe that this will be something that we need to take forward and champion as a community. Councilmember Sullivan.
Thank you, Karen. Excuse me. Yes, one more meeting for our city manager after 27 years of very faithful, dedicated, hard work.
Jackie, turn on your microphone.
Closer.
It's on. Okay, I'll get closer. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully, those previous words were heard. I'm very, actually, Alan came on, I think, 2 or 3 years before I did. I think 92, and then I came on board 3 years later in 95. Well, I have quite a few things to say when the time is more appropriate. But I understand that there was a local radio program on yesterday. Don't have the details, but I hear it was negative. I hear that council member took part in that. I think that shame on us if we don't make the last weeks of Alan's longtime service, dedicated service to our city, as positive and respectful as possible, as he deserves, as he has earned. So I just want us to all keep that in mind. You know, we have all benefited from Alan being a tough boss. The buck has always stopped with Alan. He has always known what was going on. He never hesitated to take responsibility for any difficulty. But we've never even have had a hint of a scandal in any way. I mean, his service has been wonderful, and we have all benefited from having our name on a lot of wonderful new amenities through the last many years. And he, you know, hard work. And so let's really, this should be, you know, this is a lot. I know Alan has a lot of mixed feelings right now. You know, this has been an important part of his life. Worked very hard, and so a lot's going on, and he's you know, preparing for all that is going to be part of the next large, long chapter of his life. But he deserves our respect, our appreciation, and I want things to go well, something, you know, to be a good memory, just to feel the appreciation that he does deserve. So anyway, Alan, you have done so much for this city. We have been so lucky to have you all of these many years. I just recently met someone at the National League of Cities in San Antonio, Texas, and telling that our manager was retiring. And when I said 27 years, he said, "Oh my gosh, that might be a record." Well, it's probably not a record, but certainly very unusual that someone will stick with the city and just hang in there, give it everything he's got, all the blood, sweat, and tears that he certainly has. So, Alan, you are appreciated. I understand I've been told that you're getting just a lot of appreciation from expected and unexpected people in our city that have worked with you, and maybe not even worked with you, but just know your record. And I know there's going to be, I'm looking forward to seeing the long list of things ways that we have benefited from your long tenure. So, council members, let's just let Alan know how much he's appreciated, and you know, we're going through this homeless challenge. Well, I remember for a number of months, the cry from the city was, do something yesterday. How soon can you get it done? How many beds will it be? How, you know, that was the push. That was the cry. That was the main push. And now, you know, it's interesting now that we're all going to have a chance to see that there's not going to be any perfect place. So it's going to be viewed publicly, and going to give the community and the council members a review on just how difficult it is to bring a good solution to our city, and just, you know, we need it, we want it, we certainly need it, but nobody wants it by them. Understandable. So it's going to be interesting. But anyway, Alan, we do appreciate you, and let's just make this next month as good as it can be, and all that our longtime city manager deserves it to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Sullivan. Colleagues, does anybody else wish to speak? We had a wonderful Christmas tree lighting, and one more. We'll come right back to that in a minute. I'll finish. Thank you very much to our Recreation and Parks Department, Councilmember Gonzalez, Vice Mayor. Were we dressed up as elves or something like that? But thank you very much for pulling that together, and we appreciate your hard work. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. And I just want to remind the council members that on Monday, 8:30, to be here, and we're going to have discussions with the firm regarding applications. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing that we don't have any other requests to speak, Merry Christmas, and we are adjourned at 6:20.